Hello everyone, welcome back to Fantasy Kingdom and welcome to our next coaster build for the park. Now this is something I'm going to jump straight into talking about. I was inspired by Lech Coaster at, is it Legendia? Is that the park? Which I believe is a Vekoma coaster. And more to the point, I was inspired by a build that Silverette did in one of his campaign playthroughs, where I think he was inspired by that same coaster when building that. So I've gone for a similar idea of this with a coaster that does a barrel roll, or well, is it a barrel roll? A heartline roll perhaps, through the top of the station while the coaster station is underneath it, sort of thing. You'll see what I mean. Well, now really, because most of the layout is complete in there. I don't show you much of the build because it took absolutely ages to build this layout. Obviously we're not doing a Vekoma style coaster, it's sort of either an Intamin or a Mack launch coaster, I suppose. I had to use Coaster Anarchy because I wanted two switchback sections on it. So there's a bit where it goes backwards and then goes forward again into the second launch, which is a section of track that goes through the actual station. But yeah, I don't know, it's probably an Intamin launched coaster, isn't it? I'm not sure really. But it was meant to be a family coaster, although it is slightly thrilling because it does have that one inversion. I wasn't sure after building it whether to take that inversion out and just have it going through the station. And now thinking about it, I'm still not sure, but it kind of works quite nicely. Although I'm not sure, with this track type you have to make that inversion quite long to look realistic, if you know what I mean, so I'm not really sure. But all in all, the best thing about this coaster is the station. It comes together really well, sticking with the fairy tale wizard sort of theming, the magic theming. We go for these purple and pink roofs and stuff, and then this sort of castle-y textured brick walls and stuff like that. Just to give this very magical sort of idea. It's almost like you're going into a magical forest, with all the amount of trees and stuff that I put behind it afterwards. But yeah, I had to play about quite a lot with the track colour as well to find one that suited it right, and I feel like this this grey with a slightly purpley tint works quite well for it in the end, so that's what we stick with. And yeah, it's sort of, for some reason it runs quite short trains, but I think that's fine. It's got 3 cars to a train, which should be enough for a coaster like this. I'm thinking sort of, you know, when it comes to family coasters, normally you think, oh, they wouldn't have inversions, but then you've got ones like what's it called, the Busch Gardens Cheetah Hunt, where it's a family coaster, but it does have that one inversion, and it does build up quite some speed, but it's not too intense, so the older kids can still ride it. And I think that's what we went for here, because if you saw the last episode, the start of it, I started building that family wooden coaster, which was going to be a lot smaller, and then I just weren't feeling it, so we didn't go for that in the end, obviously. But yeah, I think this works out quite well as a family coaster for this area of the park. I do need to put in some more flat rides for the kids and stuff like that. But for now, yeah, just wanted to get this one out there. You know, we're sort of a week into the new year now. But good to have a couple of videos out already. I'm quite happy that we've been able to do that. And I'm quite happy with how this build's come together as well, actually. because just like I say, to start with, when I built that first castle and that first coaster, I really wasn't feeling it. So yeah, much better what we've gone for here. So yeah, it's the layout itself is quite long, because obviously it has the 2 switchback sections and the 2 launches. Obviously I use construction anarchy because you can't have those elements on this coaster type. It was going to be not an LSM launch, that other launch, or is it an LSM? I'm not sure. I was going to use the other type of launch, but it just wasn't working. The trains were just getting stuck on it and not going anywhere. Probably because I'd messed about with the rest of the layout in Coaster Anarchy. So yeah, we just went with the more standard launch that you see on more coasters in the game. And yeah, all in all, it is quite a scrambled mess of coaster track, but you know, we break it up a bit with the scenery and theming and the trees and stuff. I build another building here to cover up all the different switchback sections and stuff like that, just to make it look more interesting. We're going with a very similar style in building to the station itself. Lots of wooden posts, wooden pillars, wooden borders, and then the sort of grey castle-y sort of walls from the adventure set. But yeah, I feel like the theme that I'm going for here is kind of difficult to put across in a way, so I do try and add in some custom sort of scenery pieces and stuff later on in the episode, which you'll see. At some point I feel like I need to build like a sort of Merlin custom figure like I did with the Aladdin one earlier in the series. I think that'll look really good. Well, we'll see anyway. But yeah, I was thinking about putting something like that in with the theming of this coaster, but I didn't think it would work that well, so I went for something completely different in the end. As you can see, there's a backstage area ready to be put in there. I still haven't done the backstage area for the Dark Ride building yet either, which we built in the last one, so I need to go back and work on that some more as well. So yeah, there's some finishing off touches to do in this area, but the basics are in there. I think there'll probably be one more episode on this themed area of the park before we move on. And yeah, I mean, coming into the rest of the series, we've got 2 parts of the park left to do, 2 themed areas left to do, which I know what they're going to be now. Not entirely sure of exactly what's going into both the areas, but I've got a rough idea. And yeah, I mean, there's still a few things to do here and there around the park, but we're definitely over halfway through now, which is sad in a way, because I've really enjoyed working on this series, probably a lot more than the last one that I did. So hopefully, it all turns out really good in the end. But yeah, we're going to have a lot more days playing these games, I think. I'm not sure if we're going to go back into lockdown here in the UK yet. I start a new job next week, but I believe some of that will be working from home and some would be office-based work, so I'm not really sure how everything's going to play out there. So I've just made the most of this time that I've had off over the Christmas period and New Year and stuff to play in Parkitect. Going into 2021, let's hope it's a better year than last year. We want to get out to some theme parks this year, ride some rides. Last year we only managed to do 2 parks, which was abysmal, to be honest. But what can you really expect with the situation going on? But yeah, I'm hoping to do a few European parks maybe this year, and see how that all goes. But yeah, only time will tell. I guess just got to stay positive at the moment and hope for the best. Really, I'm going to leave you with the music and the rest of the time lapse, and then we'll have some cinematic shots at the end. And I hope you really enjoyed this build, and hopefully see you in the next episode. That's all then. Thank you. Bye bye.